Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, I would like to present my FYP research, which is heat extraction and quality assessment of fish oil from catfish, which is Clarias species waste. So, this is my presentation outline, and I will present based on this outline. Background study. Introduction. The study is about oil that is extracted from fish to get the omega-3. Fish oil is great nutrient value because it contains long omega-3 chain polyunsaturated fatty acid. Omega-3 can maintain health, especially cardiovascular health. So, to extract the oil, the extraction method used is heat extraction, which is just involve the use of water bath. The sample used in this study is catfish, which is Clarias species, because it's easy to farm, low price, easy to obtain, which is live in common freshwater, high growth rate, and lastly high breeding rate. Next is problem statement. So, there are three problem statements in this study, which is the first one is the rise of demand for omega-3. Next is the disposal of fish waste is increased widespread. And lastly, catfish is very sensitive in handling, and a minor error could result in degenerated fish growth or even death. Next is objective. So, for objectives, there are three objectives in this study, which is the first one is to determine the best parameter for production of fish oil from catfish, which is Clarias species by heat extraction method. The second one is to characterize the catfish oil by using FTIR spectroscopy. The third one is to analyze the catfish oil quality by identifying the acid value, parasite value, P and acidity value, and lipid yield. Next is literature review. Omega-3 from catfish oil. So, based on previous research by Piccolo 2008, he found that the catfish species contain 0.18 of omega-3 gram over 100 gram of fish. Heat extraction. The method used in this study to extract the oil is heat extraction method. So, the increasing extraction temperature will cause faster free radical and free fatty acid to form. Higher temperature can cause the process of oxidation, leading to a breakdown of fat. However, too higher temperature will cause the denature of protein, which is form a dense structure, may cause oil release inhibition. Next is advantages of heat extraction method. I more prefer heat extraction method because it is lowest in cost, simplest in equipment, easiest in handling, and less chemical and energy use compared to other method. So, this is example of water bath I had used in mine experiment. Methodology. For methodology, the first sample preparation was conducted, such as cutting and blending the catfish fish oil. Then the sample we place into the water bath for heat extraction process. After certain minutes, the sample was let it cool at temperature like 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Then it will placed into the centrifuge at 3000 rpm within 15 minutes. After that, it will form 3 layers, which is upper oil layer, protein layer, and bottom slash layer. Upper oil layer will be kept, while protein layer and bottom slash layer will be removed. Upper oil layer that will be kept will be extracted by glass dropper. Next, it will be placed into a small centrifuge tube or a measure tube to measure the volume. Next, the oil sample is ready for further analysis, whether it will undergo FTIR spectroscopy conducted to characterize the functional group in oil, or it will undergo oil quality, which are acid value, peroxide value, pin and acidity value, and fatty acid composition. Next is result and discussion in this experiment. So as you can see here, there is parameter involved in determination which parameter can produce the higher oil yield. So the first parameter is time, which is 15, 20 and 25 minutes. The second parameter is temperature, which is 17, 18 and 19 Celsius. And lastly, the parameter involved is different body part of catfish. So the parameter the parameter in body part of catfish is gut, head and frame. So as you can see here, this is overall result for heat extraction method. Based on the first graph, which is graph effect of time on oil yield at temperature of 17, as you can see at the graph, at temperature of 17 and times of 15, catfish got the best parameter with 34.44% of oil yield. This is because compared to others, the shorter time can produce more fish oil and save the cost for energy use. While front and head oil production show the increment as the time was increased. The second graph is effect of time on oil yield at temperature of 18 Celsius. As you can see here in the graph, the longer period of time, which is at 15 until 20 minutes, the highest oil yield, the highest oil production. However, it show decrement. Until the time at 25 minutes for every sample, which is from 15 minutes until 20 minutes. The graph showed increment and showed decrement until the time was 25 minutes. This is because the longer time, more successful in splitting adipose cell. However, at 25 minutes, the protein had tendency to undergo irreversible denature. Next, based on the third graph, which is the graph effect of time on oil yield at the temperature of 19, as you can see here in the graph, the oil decreased as the time was increased. It was due to oxidation cycle. So, as the time was increased, the oil is decreased. The process of oxidation leading to a breakdown of fat. So, at 90 Celsius, the protein generally undergoes irreversible denaturing of protein, which is it will form a dense structure, may cause or release inhibition. This is explained why the oil undergoes decrement. Next is a result for functional group analysis by FTIR spectroscopy. So, as you can see here at the figure left side, it shows the FTIR result. So, after your interpretation in the table, which there are, so, as we can see here in the table, there are 3% of ester functional group observed. This one, and this one. So, these 3 functional group of ester prove that they are present of triglyceride. In addition, the presence of alkene here prove that they are present of fatty acid and polyunsaturated fatty acid, which means in a fatty acid and polyunsaturated fatty acid, they are present of DHA and EPA. So this will prove that they are present of omega-3 in this catfish oil. Lastly is result for oil quality analysis. So based on the table, as we can see in the table, only acid value is above acceptable limit by FAO. As you can see, the difference is very high. And next, peroxide value. So the value for peroxide and PNCD value, it was below the acceptable limit by FAO. You can see here. So in this quality analysis, only acid value is above the acceptable value. So based on the research, analysis of quality should below the acceptable limit of value by FAO for human consumption. Okay. Now is conclusion. So as conclusion, based on my opinion, I had already achieved all objectives in this study. So my recommendation is for further study, they should add in optimization such as the use of DOE, which is design of experiment in this study, that focusing on this obtained base parameter to produce oil, which is at temperature of 70 at time of 15 minutes and at the body part of gut. So they should apply DOE on these parameters. So this is a reference, the